Hey everyone, it's December 12th. Hey everyone, Cleo here, and it is December 11th. Hey everyone, Cleo here, and I've got a confession to make. This is December 10th, and I have to film December 9th as well today. Hey everyone, it is December 8th. Hey everyone, Cleo here, it's December 7th. Hey everyone, it's December 6th, and it is Sinterklaas in Belgium. Hey everyone, December 5th. Hey everyone, it's day 4 of the month of December. You can hear some kittens in the background. Hey everyone, it's December 3rd. Hey everyone, it's December 6th. Hey everyone, Cleo here, and welcome to the 2018 24 Days of Christmas book tag. Now this is my original book tag, and I'm hoping that a lot of you will participate. I don't think it's very widespread at the moment, so I'll be happy if one person participates already. But maybe, who knows, next year it might be a way bigger thing, I'm hoping. In any case, my idea for the 24 Days of Christmas book tag, if you haven't seen the video, I'll link it down below, is to have sort of like an advent calendar counting down to the day of Christmas. So the idea is that you go through the questions that I've added for the particular day, and that you make it Christmassy yourself. So you can do that by adding a different Christmas song to the background every single day, or wearing a different Christmas sweater every single day. Whatever you can come up with, please go ahead. Creativity is always welcome. And then you pour all of that together into one giant video, and that'll be it. That'll be your beautiful countdown to the day of Christmas and a nice testimony to your Christmas period. So this video will probably go up on either the 25th or the 26th. So it is quite a lot of preparation. I am aware of that, but I think it will be very nice afterwards. It will be a very nice result. So for my 24 Days of Christmas book tag, I will be counting down to the day of Christmas by presenting you with my favorite ornaments, one for each day. So the question for day 1, so it's the 1st of December, and the question for day 1 was favorite opening line in a book. But the one that I'm going with comes out of this beautiful edition of Anna Karenina, and so it goes, by the way, beautiful end pages. So it goes, happy families are all alike, and every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. So if you haven't read this book, do it. But so the ornament for the day, for the first day, is this Cheshire Cat ornament from Disney. I got this in Disneyland Paris, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Hey everyone, it's December 2nd, and the prompt for today is a seasonal recommendation for a friend. And I want to make my seasonal recommendation. It is a classic, it's something that most people will recommend for the Christmas season, but it is the Christmas books by Charles Dickens. And I do want to emphasize that I'm talking about the Christmas books and not just about A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol, don't get me wrong, is a wonderful book, but I feel like it's always overshadowing the 2 other stories in the Dickens Christmas collection, and I feel like The Chimes and The Cricket on the Hearth are definitely also worth a read. A Christmas Carol is not the only great Christmas book by Charles Dickens. And the ornament for today is one of my favorite ornaments once again, and this is a bagpipe playing Santa Claus that I got in Scotland last year when I was there on holidays. And so it is just super cute, and I love remembering the great times we had in Scotland on that trip. Hey everyone, it's December 3rd, and so the 3rd day of the 24 Days of Christmas book tag. For today the prompt is a book that I still want to get to in 2018. If you've seen my Bookmas 2018 videos, I will have covered a couple of them, but I will only be mentioning one. So this is the one book out of 4 I think I mentioned in there that I absolutely still want to get to in 2018. This is because it's been on my TBR for a couple of years. It was also my 2018 TBR, and that is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I'm a huge Dickens fan. Dickens is perfect for the month of December, and I really want to get to this one and be like one step closer to finishing the goal of reading every Dickens novel. The ornament for today is actually a pretty normal one. It doesn't have a backstory or anything. It is a glittery deer. So I have a couple of these in my tree, and I actually also have some deer in another color, but I absolutely love these, and They get a prime spot in my tree every single year. Hey everyone, it's December 4th. We are continuing our countdown towards Christmas. Today's prompt is a favorite book cover, and let's do this with the background noise of some kittens playing around. But favorite book cover is a difficult one. There are so many beautiful book covers. So I went with Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. It is just so beautiful with all the glitter, and it's so beautiful in its simplicity. I'm a bit on the fence about the book, but I will continue with the series and hopefully I will love it more once I get into the second book. Now the ornament for today is in testament to my kittens who are running around here making a lot of noise at the moment, who spent the day at the vet getting sterilized and castrated. And it's in particular to one of them who scratched me a lot this morning and therefore proved that he really is a small lion. So this ornament is in honor of that cat and his spirit. Hey everyone, December 5th, and so we are already on the 5th day of the 24 days of Christmas book tag. Now, if you see anything special about this eye, I'm battling some allergies still, and so it is a bit swollen. So the prompt for today is a book that you have been most excited about recently. Now, there are a couple of books that qualify, but I will actually go for the one that I'm currently reading. And that is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. That, by the way, was my cats destroying my books. So A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. It is a book in which we follow four boys who met each other in college, and we follow kind of their development through life, but it's mostly centered around one boy who's called Jude, who has a very dark background, and the extent of his dark background is slowly revealed to us throughout the book. It is a very heavy book, so definitely trigger warnings there. The character in which the character I was referring to has had to deal with sexual abuse, for example, violence. He has a very negative self-image, and so he also hurts himself. So a lot of dark, problematic subject matter comes in play here. So do not tread lightly. But I'm absolutely loving it. It is wonderful. It is so beautiful. It's so emotional. I've cried a couple of times already. I mean, it's not the type of books in which you cry the entire way through, or at least I didn't. But it definitely has its moments in which you are really crying and really feeling for the characters a lot. But so in any case, up to the ornament for today, which I actually still have to get out of the Christmas tree. So the ornament for today is actually one of which I have a couple of. So well, I'll just show it first. And these are these very beautiful, very elegant, I feel, little birds that you can put into the tree. And the cats really like them, so they have to be placed at the top of my Christmas tree. Hey everyone, Cleo here. It is December 6th, and December 6th is a very special day in Belgium because it is the day in which we celebrate Sinterklaas. Now, Sinterklaas is the inspiration for the Santa Claus figure in American culture, and so he is a good old man with a very large grey beard who wears like a sort of red outfit, a red and white outfit, and who brings gifts to children if they're nice. So yeah, you can see the comparison there to Santa Claus. So for us it is on December 6th. Also, it is the day after which you are officially allowed to have a Christmas tree. But yeah, I wanted to have mine early, and finally I decided, because of this book tag, that I finally had a valid reason to break the rules. Now, in honor of Sinterklaas, the ornament I want to show you guys today is basically a little bit like a toy. and that is this little robot. Now the prompt for today is inspired by the celebration of Sinterklaas, and that is, what is your favorite childhood read? Now for me this was a bit of one of the more difficult questions. I wasn't a particularly avid reader when I was a small child, but like around the age of 10-11 I started reading, and there were 3 books that were very important to me starting to read. And I really debated between those 3, but I ended up with one. And so I will show you the Dutch and Spanish edition that I have for this book, but there is also an English edition out there. And that is in Dutch, De Brief voor de Koning by Tonke Dracht. It is Letter to the King in English. There's also a movie in Dutch made out of this book, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend the movie. I would recommend trying the book. I don't know whether the English translation is any good or not, but I absolutely love this story. This is a story of knights. It's this young boy who is well, he's on his way to become a knight, and the night before he becomes a knight, he is sitting in a chapel along with other children who are about to be knighted, and they have to do a vigil. And if they can stay silent the entire night and only focus on keeping their candle lit, then they will pass the test. But during this vigil, he hears somebody outside the chapel knocking, saying that he really needs help and that somebody needs to come and help him. And so he steps outside the chapel to try and help this person, and a crazy adventure ensues. Hey everyone, Cleo here. It's December 7th. We are getting closer and closer to Christmas. So today's prompt is the book you have read most often, and for me that's pretty simple because it is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now I reread Harry Potter quite often, but because I often start all over, so I often say like I want to read Harry Potter, and then I often start with the first one, and then after a couple of books in I was saying like, okay, I need to restart, and then I start with the first one. So I've started the first one quite often, but okay, it's a pattern I'm in, but I'm determined to end this pattern now. So I have reread 1, 2 and 3 in Spanish this year. I am planning to reread 4 and 5 next year, and 6 and 7 the year afterwards. So I will also show you my nice Spanish edition since I have it here with me. So I've definitely read the Spanish edition already twice, but maybe 3 times. The English edition I have no idea anymore, but I'm really looking forward to getting to reread the entire series again in its entirety and not just the passages that I really like. I am also very interested in rereading the 6th one because that's my least favorite one, and so I'm interested to see when I reread it again what my opinion will be about it. So the ornament for today is this very nice, yeah, this is very well organized, this very nice hot air balloon ornament, and I recently went on a hot air balloon ride for the very first time because I have a fear of heights, so I hadn't done it before, but I really enjoyed it, and maybe I'll do it again one day. But so yeah, I really love this little hot air balloon ornament. Hey everyone, it is December 8th. The prompt is the oldest book you've read based on the publication date. So not the first book you've ever read, but the book that you've read that is the oldest around. And so for this I used my Goodreads app to check the publication dates of all the books that I've read to see, okay, which one is the oldest one, and there were a couple of them that had an unknown publication date. So for these I had to kind of look at them. Most of them were books that had to be published still. But there was one, and this turned out to be the oldest book, that had an unknown publication date. But so based on the known publication date, the oldest book that I read would have been the Chanson de Roland, which was around 1100 in terms of its year. But the oldest book is going to be Antigone by Sophocles, which is written around 400 BC. So yeah, I think it's clear that that one wins. So I read Antigone, well, I had to read Antigone for high school. So I read it in my last year of high school, so I must have been like 17. And so that is like 13 years ago, so I don't remember much about it. I had to look at the premise again. And so Antigone by Sophocles is a story, well, it's actually a play Antigone is a tragedy. I would describe it as like a family drama. So it follows the fate of the children of Oedipus. One of his sons has declared war on his brother, and when this son dies in battle, their uncle declares that his body cannot be buried, nobody can mourn him, he's a traitor, and so he should remain he shouldn't receive the honor of having anybody mourn for him. But our title character, Antigone, who is the sister of both of these brothers, defies this order and buries her brother and mourns him. And she says, and her reasoning behind this is that the laws of man will always come second to the laws of God, and that she will follow the laws of her gods. But actually, rereading the synopsis really made me want to reread Antigone. The ornaments for today, it's actually getting quite difficult to decide to look at the ornaments, so I hope I actually have 24 ornaments that I can show you, otherwise I'll have to start buying some more. And that is this little parrot. Turn around. Now I was suddenly wondering whether I actually already showed this parrot. I hope I didn't. If I did, then this is a major blooper, but yeah, I hope I didn't show it yet. Hey everyone, Cleo here. It is day 10 of the month of December, meaning if you've been paying close attention that I skipped a day. Yes, I forgot to film yesterday on the 9th, and I actually really just forgot. Totally forgot. So no excuse for me there, it's my own tag and I couldn't even remember to do it every single day, but okay. So for day 9 of the 24 days of Christmas book tag, the prompt was the book you would like to follow a class on. And now my answer to this might be different from most people, I'm not sure, who knows. But my answer is actually a book that I don't like. So this is a book, it's considered a great American classic. I've seen it in a couple of lists of books that are absolutely worth a hype and things like that. But I absolutely hated this book. It took me forever to get through. I thought it was super boring, and I just couldn't understand why all these people really like this book. Which is why I think following a class on this book would actually be beneficial. It would make me realize why this book is considered a great American classic, why people think it is so good. Because yeah, from my end, I just see it as being quite boring. And not really, yeah, I mean, didn't like the story, didn't like the development, didn't like maybe the writing style, I'm not entirely sure, because the book intersperses a lot of theory about certain subjects in between the stories, so I thought that the structure of that was super annoying. So I don't know whether it's going to be controversial or not. It is a great American classic, but I also don't think that a lot of people on BookTube actually read this book, but maybe, who knows. And so I just have this super cheap Penguin Popular Classics paperback for this. I've actually, weirdly enough, been inclined to get like a very beautiful version of it, because there are very beautiful versions of this. But yeah, considering the fact that I hate this book so much, I just think, why would you do that? Why would you spend money on it just because you can then rant about a pretty book? But so the book that I'm talking about, I don't actually know whether you'll be able to see this because of the glare. And I cannot see that far, but so let's hope you see something. But in any case, it is Moby Dick by Herman Melville. We follow a young boy who sets out on a adventure aboard a ship captained by a Captain Ahab, who has kind of lost his mind due to an encounter with a white whale called Moby Dick. And so the story is basically just them trying to find Moby Dick in order for them to be able to kill Moby Dick. However, the story intersperses with a lot of theory, like every single time that whales have ever been mentioned in world literature, every single type of harpoon you can use to kill a whale, and things like that, which really dragged on. And so if you like this book, please definitely let me know why you think this is such a great novel and why you think this is well worth the read. But yeah, if I were to ever be able to follow a class in literature again, it would really be I mean, I would really benefit from it being about Moby Dick. And then, well, I showed you the ornament for the day 9. So the ornament that I chose for day 9 is this little guy. Where am I putting it? Whoa, this is so not a good angle. Yeah, struggles. So this little guy, I hope he's somewhat in focus, because that's going to be a bit difficult for me to check. But so this is a little wooden a horse with a wooden man on it, and I have a lot of these little wooden figures in my Christmas tree. The reason that I absolutely adore them is because they are leftovers from my parents' Christmas tree. So they are also, so a couple of them are also still in my parents' Christmas tree, but so a couple of them I took with me. I recently found also where I could buy them, so in case that like something happens to them I could still buy another set. But so yeah, they just remind me of my childhood and of the Christmas tree, my childhood. And since Christmas has always been very important to me, that's just, yeah, it's just an extra dimension that this one has for me. And then it's time to move on to today, December 10th. Hey everybody, it's December 10th. So the prompt for today was your best fantasy book. Now you could include sci-fi into this, magical realism, no problem. I kept just to fantasy, and the reason for that is because I cannot narrow fantasy down to a single book. I mean, maybe I could, but that would just break my heart. So I decided to talk about 3 books. Now I'm not necessarily even saying that these 3 books are like the best fantasy I've ever read. There are definitely a lot of other books that also qualify. I'm mentioning 3 books from 3 different series, but separate books from these series also. I mean, several other books out of the same series would also apply, and then several books from other series as well. So the first one is one that I've discussed a lot of times, and so I won't be saying too much about it, and that is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, which is a 1,300 page book that I read in 2 weeks, which is saying enough. Second one is definitely one that you can also anticipate, and that is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. So I'm holding up my favorite book of the series. But so yeah, Order of the Phoenix is my favorite book. It's the books that made me cry out of the series. But I'm interested to see when I reread the series what will happen to my like order of Harry Potter books. And then the final one is one that's not as well known, I think, or I've not yet heard anybody mention it on BookTube, not even when they're like giving their list of best fantasy, and that is The High Lord by Trudy Canavan. So this is the 3rd book in a series. The first book is The Magician's Guild, and so this is about a young like street urchin, Sonia her name is, and every like year the wizards of like the magicians of the town, they come out into the streets and they do sort of purge. But during this year's purge, like there's a sort of like riot and people start throwing rocks at the magicians, but the magicians are protected because they, well, yeah, they have sort of force field up. But Sonia feels super angry, and she somehow manages to penetrate that field with her stone. And so we set up into this adventure in which Sonia is trying to evade the magicians from the Magician's Guild. I really love this, and The High Lord is my favorite book in this one. I do have a soft spot for endings, so perhaps because of this. And so I wanted to mention it just because it doesn't get mentioned quite enough, and because it doesn't get mentioned often enough, and because I really do feel like it's worth it. I mean, I have reread it multiple times, the entire series, so it's definitely one of my favorite fantasies. I have the sequel trilogy, but I haven't started it yet, so I cannot let you know there. But so the ornament that I picked out for today is in honor of one of my colleagues, and that is this. Yeah, I'll move again. So it's this little bauble with like dancing Santa on it. It's like, it looks like Russian dancers or something, like Cossacks or something like that. But so yeah, it is a bauble that he got me from the Christmas market when we did like our Secret Santa at work last year. Which reminds me that I still need to order my Secret Santa, which we'll be handing out on Thursday, so yeah, I need to get to it now. Hey everyone, Cleo here, and it is December 11th, and I'm here filming here next to my lovely cats who decided to share the spot with me. So I said, let me change the setup so that I can have them in my picture, but yeah, now they've all disappeared. But so in any case, so the prompt for today is the author that you would most like to meet. And now obviously this implies that the author is still alive. And so in that sense I chose for Brandon Sanderson because I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson fan, or becoming one. I haven't read all of his works, clearly. I've read, like, at the moment I think I've read 7 of his books, and so I've still got a long way to go, but I've absolutely adored every single book by him that I have read, and I'm definitely planning on reading a lot more by him. So yeah, I think out of all of the authors that I am currently reading, I'm most interested in meeting Brandon Sanderson. So my ornaments for today, I've chosen a pretty much weathered down ornament actually. It is actually a like do-it-yourself ornament a bit. I don't think I actually made it myself, though I'm now thinking like, oh, I could have really done that. And it's like a little angel made out of like, it's penne, like, so it's made out of pasta, so this is also some piece of pasta. I'll try and put it towards the front, but that means I have to change my focus. So okay, focusing, other direction. Yay! So it's this little guy here, you can see his back is made of pasta, yay! Hey everyone, it's December 12th, and so we are at the midway point towards the countdown for Christmas. So it is almost time for that magical day of the year, and because of this midway point I thought, what better way to celebrate than to wear one of my Christmas sweaters. So yeah, it's not really an ugly Christmas sweater, or at least I hope you don't think so, because I definitely don't think so. But yeah, this is one of my 4 Christmas sweaters or something, so I'm saving them up. I'm not putting all of them in the in every single video, but so you've already seen one normally. But in any case, also because of the midway point, I thought it was okay for me to use another one of my Disney ornaments, and this time around I've got this little Chip and Dale figurine that I hope will be like semi-visible in the video. But in any case, the prompt for today is a book on your TBR that is an absolute priority for 2019. And so I thought long and hard about this because there are different options for me to go to here. Either like a book that's coming out in 2019 that I definitely want to like immediately get to and not postpone for the next year, or a book that I was planning to get to in 2018 but didn't end up actually getting to, or a book that's been like on my radar for years that I haven't gotten around to. And I went for the final one, so I went with a book that I know for like a couple of years already that I want to get to. I read another book by this author and it was really a positive experience, and then I said, okay, I really need to read his like most famous novel. But it is a giant book, so I didn't really, I didn't really commit myself to it yet. But so for 2019, I definitely want to make it happen. Problem is that I want to make it happen in December, but that will mean like I have 1 month for this book, so maybe I need to start in November. I don't know. Well, these are worries for 2019. But in any case, the book that I'm talking about is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Now, I don't know too much about it, except that it's like an epic love story set against a backdrop of a big war. I don't know, civil war, I don't know which war actually. I don't know what the time frame is for this book neither. I don't know when it's set. I know that when my mother read this, that she only read like the peace parts of the books, and that she was like skimming through the war parts because she didn't like the descriptions of war or anything like that. Now I normally don't really have a problem with that, so I hope that I will be able to enjoy both parts of this book. But in any case, I'm really looking forward to this. I read Anna Karenina, and I have to say that in parts it definitely felt like it was a struggle to get through. However, I was also super happy with having gotten through it, with having read it. I really liked the ending of the book. And so overall I still consider it a recommendation. I do tell people when I'm recommending the book that it is a bit more of a difficult read, and so this will still be the case for War and Peace as well. I know every single book that I've read by a Russian author, I've always struggled with the names, with remembering like who are we talking about. Also sometimes their nicknames can be so at least to me it seems like they're very different, and then I get very confused and it turns out that certain characters that I thought were two different characters turn out to be the same one. But in any case, I'm really looking forward to finally getting to this one in 2019. It is going on my 2019 TBR, so this doesn't necessarily say anything, but because I mentioned it now as my absolute priority for 2019, I should definitely be getting to this one. But so yeah, tune in next year to see whether I actually did, I guess.